You heard a cat? Did you
Wait,
hear the cat? Because the cat just walked under my leg.
I heard your cat.
Yeah, there's two cats and a dog. So if you see something jump on top of me, you know what happened.
Okay.
All right, we're recording and we are live on Facebook and YouTube. We're everywhere. I am with Pia Zadora, world famous, started out in Jersey, kind of like myself, and then wound up everywhere in the world with the biggest people in the world. Let me ask, you did start out at a young age, and you were picked out by, I think, what was it, Burgess Meredith, grabbed you for a show for Broadway at like 8 years old.
Yep.
People are tying their shoes at that age. What was that like for you?
It was sucked up. Because, in a way, it made me unique and special, but my whole life changed. I didn't have normalcy. I didn't have regularity. I didn't have the prom. I was constantly on the road traveling. Of course, I felt great because I really did what I did well, which, made me feel better about myself. I went to a parochial school. And the nuns thought that I was socially retarded because I had never seen other kids. I had a heart condition when I was a kid. My mother sheltered me, and all of a sudden here I am with penguins in a world of penguins. And I'm looking around, what the hell? And I became very introverted. My father was very shy. I remorphed. I had a lobotomy, which is why I'm not really shy anymore. But I was really shy as a kid. And being on stage actually was the only way I could overcome my shyness, because I didn't have to think, I didn't have to say, it was somebody else I was portraying. And there was not an eye to eye. I was great at memorizing the lines. I got up there and I did great. And it became my life, which really is a very unique, and it's a very difficult life, being pulled in and out of school, going to lessons, going to auditions, getting rejections, going on the road. And I really didn't, I was, uprooted in the sense of a real normal life. But anyways, aren't you glad you asked?
I am very glad I asked. Many people want to know about that. But yeah, there is no normalcy, and you don't have that foundation of, okay, do your homework, wake up, and go hang out with your friends, have a good time. Instead, it's get on stage, learn these pages, and stand across from some, Tony Award winner.
Yeah, but I'm not going to be about it, because it did make me stronger. It made me who I am today. It made me decide who I want to be instead of who somebody else wanted me to be. And it's all good now. All's well that ends.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the life you've led. It's 1 in a million. Let's see. There's so many things. I'm not going to try to be chronological with this. Okay. Fiddler on the Roof. We did that. Tallulah Bankhead. That's incredible.
Well, the whole 10 years, the first 10 years of my life, from 8 to 18, I was a Broadway baby. I was the youngest daughter in Fiddler. I was in The Sound of Music. I was in Promises, Promises, Henry, Sweet Henry, Applause, all those shows, growing in, growing out of parts and doing different stuff. Plus, I was doing industrials and commercials. I was making pretty good money for a kid. So I was pretty successful, and then I got married to my first husband.
Yes, that was coming up. I think you guys met on a bus. You were young at the time. Then a couple of years later, you finally got married. What was that like? Was it back then they had a difference where, younger and older, like now, Anna Nicole Smith, she was with a 90-year-old guy. She was 30 or something. So it's considered nothing. But back then, was it a big deal?
You know what? I didn't care whether it was a big deal. I just cared about myself and what was right for me. And my ex, well, he's deceased, my deceased ex-husband, basically was more than a husband to me. He was a father to me. He always claimed that my mother was a stage mother. She was Mama Rose, on steroids. And I was controlled, and she never let me be who I was. All she did was tell me where to go, what to do. And he actually saved me from that. And he always claimed that he married me, that I married him to get away from my mother. And I was, would laugh and all that stuff, but it's more than half true. He respected me, I became independent, I did what I wanted, and eventually went back to work because I missed it, because that was a big part of who I was. And yeah, he was much older. And at that time, when you're, 23 and he's 49 and he's the most successful man in the world and very charismatic, it's not that bad. But when you're 33 and he's 60, it starts to get a little gnarly.
Gnarly. Awesome word. Awesome.
And but at that point, I was like, you know what, honey, and we loved each other. We had a great respect. We had 2 kids. We were married for 18 years. We traveled. It wasn't an intimate kind of a marriage because I was always off in this jet here, and he was always off in that jet there. And then we'd meet a minute here, a minute there. I had hit records in Europe. I had the kids. It was a whirlwind. So we really never had time for each other to bond or to be together in an intimate way. But we both had fun with our lives, and it was good in our own, way, shape, and form. But at that point, when I, was a little older and he was a little older, I just said, hey, I gotta go. And he understood, and we were friends until the end of the day, and he always claimed that I'm the only one he ever loved. And
that's beautiful.
It was really fun because I was like his kid in a way, and his trophy wife on another level, which is kind of cool. But I went back to work. I went back to work because I didn't really fit into his social world. They were, the women were older and they were very elegant and high class, and it was all cool for a minute until I'm like, wait a second, it isn't me. And they didn't like me and I didn't like them. So let's get real here. Go back to work. And so I went back to work, and he followed me, and then he said, don't travel, let's do a movie. He produced Butterfly, which is how I won the Golden Globe. And no matter how much they try to take it back, it's right over there on my counter in Buckham.
I was going to ask where it was.
Here, I'll get it. Hold on.
Beautiful.
Golden Globe, my nemesis. If I'd known, I should have just sat in my seat and said, oh, no thanks. Sorry. Tell Sally Fields to go and take it and stick it, on her, show.
I know. Well, in every case, there's haters, and you look at Miramax. They mastered the art of promotion for the Oscars and for all their films, and all the things Disney and all these other companies did. They've all done the same thing. It's just that some people said, oh, because she's new, there was a program put in place to try to help her win. That's what every studio does. They just didn't like it that you hadn't been there for 10 years and it wasn't maybe your turn in the rotation to get that. So that's when the haters come out.
You should have been my publicist. I like it. But there were a couple of other things going on. The movie switched the distributors like a month before. And so at the time that I won the Golden Globe, the movie wasn't out yet, but it had been seen by obviously the Hollywood Foreign Press. And they had parties just like everybody else did, like you said, you're right. And then I had a funny name, Pia Zadora, and of course it was incest. But the thing that people didn't really get was it was not an acting role or an acting nomination for a award for acting. It was the new star of the year, which is basically whoever makes the biggest impact on the screen. You don't have to act. It's like a charisma kind of thing. And so it was very, thank God it's over. Cheers. It made me who I am today. Again, it made me who I am today.
It's yours. It's on your mantelpiece, and no one can take that from you.
And then I went on. Go ahead.
Musically, you got a Grammy nod, which was amazing. The only reason you didn't win was obviously Tina Turner for that year. You were up against her, which she was in line for hers. It was her turn, no matter what. And Tina kind of had like 40 years on you, so that wasn't going to happen. But just to be nominated for that had to feel good. I mean, that's impressive.
And just to lose to Tina is pretty good, right?
Yeah. It depends who you lose to.
Right.
It's not like, Edward Norton losing to Jimmy Gooding Jr., but that's a whole other story. I like one thing that you said. I don't know, people say I'm a sex symbol, but I think I'm an actress. Aren't you both?
When did I say that? I should have been evaluated.
Maybe you had a couple of those before you said it, but I picked that up off the IMDb page.
People think I'm a sex symbol, but I'm an actress. So oh,
Yeah.
what I meant by that. What I meant by that was, I act like a sex symbol because I'm not. That's not. No, really. At that time,
Okay.
I was acting like a sex symbol because those were the roles, those were the things that people put me in. But
Now I get it.
that's what I meant by that.
Now I get it. Yes, in context, it makes a lot of sense. There was some advice Frank Sinatra gave you. What was it like? One of your children, or I believe your stepson, is Don Rickles, is his godfather, or Frank Sinatra. You're opening for him as the opening act. What was it like being with the real Rat Pack?
And Don King was my other kid's godfather. What was I thinking? I love Don, but I was the baby. I was the kid, and I really didn't get the importance, and I wasn't really included in most of the social stuff with them because I was married and I was younger and stuff. But the stage stuff was great. It was Liza was supposed to tour with Frank and Don that summer, and Don had seen me with Frank had seen me with Jackie Mason in Florida. And we bumped into each other in a restaurant, and he said, "Hey, Liza's sick. Can you fill in for her this summer?" So we ended up touring for like a couple of years, and it was. Oh, wait, I got to show you this picture.
Get it?
Oh my God, it's hysterical. But I have to give you the backstory. Oh, there's a glare on it, right?
If you get a little closer, oh, that's from your website. I saw that. Get a little closer, yeah, and then a little to your right. Okay, there you are, Frank and Don Rickles, perfect on stage.
Yeah.
Curtain call.
And we toured all over, and there were like trays of Jack Daniels all backstage, and they were throwing that stuff back. And I was at that time drinking Chardonnay, and I was the lightweight. But hey, I grew into myself. Now it's Piatinis, and I'm doing what they did. I'm following in their footsteps, and that's what I'm doing at Pia's place. I have some of the old musicians that worked with us, and Sonny Charles from Checkmates, and Lou L whatever. What is his name? Anyway, he's iconic. And Steve Miller, Lou Miller. I made him Jewish. I think he is Jewish. But anyway, so it was a great lesson in terms of learning work ethic because they didn't fuck around. You go up there. He would say to me, "Okay, now don't screw up," and you didn't because there was a certain. Yeah, I would have been out in 3 seconds. You know what I mean? He did a little clip that I have and I use in my show where he talks about me, and it's a very complimentary clip. I can send it to you. You can probably play it. It's like a 2-minute thing. But I think I lived up to his standards because I was able to keep it together. And it's one thing about me. I was never scared of anything. And I would just do what I had to do, what I knew I had to do, and that's it.
What was it like with the headlining at the Riviera? Doing those shows night after night, were there ever times where you, like you said, you were never scared? If you weren't scared, then maybe did you ever just feel like, wow, I want to do a different type of show, like still do it there, but change things around? Was there ever the repetition factor?
Well, I was I can't say I was never scared. At that point, when I got in that group, I already had the Golden Globe. I'd already done all that stuff. So I had a certain sense of myself and self-empowerment. When I first started the Riviera headlining, I would, be scared before the show. Yeah, I mean, it's natural to have certain anxiety, but it is pretty scary. But there's always alcohol.
And Dubonnet, because I know somebody was a Dubonnet girl for a while.
Right? It's right on my wall.
I'm just telling somebody something. Okay. Nevada Heat with Telly Savalas and Desi Arnaz Jr. Were they hitting on you like crazy? Because those are some ladies' men. Come on, you're not even answering. I know the answer.
Hey, because my freaking husband was there. But now Frank Sinatra Jr., that was another story. But people, we were working. Yeah, but my daughter ended up going with Kelly's son, with Christian.
Oh, really?
They lived together for like 3 years. We had the kids together. It's so funny. At that time, right after Nevada Heat, Telly's wife Julie and I had our kids pretty much 2 years apart, and they spent time together as kids and ended up dating.
Oh, wow. These are good stories. The Lonely Lady, that your role dealt with sexual assault in Harold Robbins' novel. And then in, I think, what was the other one? Was that Butterfly with incest? Or no? Which was that one?
That's the one I wanted to go. It was incest.
Oh. Seems to be a theme here. Sexual difficulties.
What?
There's a theme here. Incest, sexual assault. What's going on? When did you finally get one? What was it? John Waters, Hairspray. Then it was Friendly and Fun, right? And Naked Gun.
Naked Gun was pure fun.
What was that?
Pure fun. It was just pure fun. I love making fun of myself, and I love sight gags and slipping on a banana. And Leslie Nielsen's so funny, and OJ was there too, and Anna Nicole, and those guys. That was pretty interesting experience.
That must have been a lot of fun.
It was.
That must have been a lot of fun.
Great. Let's get.
What?
I mean, I had the classic lines of all time in those two movies. In Hairspray, Let's Get Naked and Smoke, the beatnik. And in Lonely Lady, I guess I'm not the only one who had to fuck her way to the top in Hollywood. So, hey, I pretty much said it all.
Those are great lines. They're lines to live by.
Yeah.
Lines to live by.
Yeah.
Let's see what's now, Frank Sinatra had said advice to you about play the standards, was it?
Yeah.
And you're doing.
Yeah, I was doing pop music, and that was one prerequisite. If I wanted to appear with him, I'd have to do that kind of music. He didn't want to mix up the music. So that's when Nelson Riddle did an arrangement for me, and Don Costa. He had them do arrangements of songs like "The Man That Got Away," "Come Rain or Come Shine," those kind of things, and I did them because when Frank tells you to do something, you do it. And
I would.
Yeah, and I'm doing them today because today they're really me. I didn't really get them then. I was more into the pop music. Jermaine and I had the #1 song in Europe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Here's one.
And I had #1 songs in France and Germany and all those places. And I like doing the pop music. But Frank, had a image for me to do those songs with him. And I'm glad. And then I did Pia and Phil, which was the album of standards, which Frank recommended with the London Philharmonic Orchestra and Don Costa and all those people did arrangements. And that really gave me so much credibility because people are, wow, she can sing. Can't walk and chew gum at the same time, but she can sing. So, that was a really good thing for me. So it worked.
So wait, did that lead to the, you have a CD, All or Nothing at All. Is that based upon kind of his advice? And that's coming out soon? Did you record that already, or is that
That's out now. There's a video that goes with it that we recorded during the pandemic, which is the title song, All or Nothing at All, which you should get. I'll send it to you. It's really cool. My husband, I wanted Brad Pitt to play the leading man, but he wasn't available, so my husband had to do it.
That's your quarantine video you did? Is that the quarantine video? After 4 weeks, it starts with sex and then drinking and then fighting and sex?
That's fun. Boy, you know your shit.
Well, you're worth researching. Believe me.
Oh,
Sometimes I don't pay attention. With you, I'm paying attention.
Well, the album, the CD is out, and it's on Spotify and all that kind of stuff. But it's the songs that I do at Pia's place that Frank told me to do, but in a more sophisticated, cooler way, with 4 or 5 musicians, a sax here, a sax there, singing like you could care less, which is something it took me a long time to learn how to do, but I like the way it sounds. It's a very cool CD if you're having a cocktail party or something like that. Very low key, not trying to prove anything, and just really fun, cool music.
the way you described it is perfect. Saying like you don't care and nothing's important and you're just putting it out there. That's actually when it's the best. That's when it's the best.
I agree.
Um,
I agree.
let's see. Covering a lot of good stuff here. It's amazing from Hoboken. Unbelievable.
Yeah,
You sure did a lot.
who knew?
Oh, that's it.
Frank used to say we had adjoining mangers. He's from Hoboken.
I'm from Newark, New Jersey, so Jersey people, Bruce Springsteen, Tom Cruise, everybody, Meryl Streep. The list goes on forever. Jersey, they make fun of it, but we sure put out good people.
I agree.
Let's see. Oh, let me ask you this: the mansion. Okay, all the controversy, Pickfair, you knocked it down, whatever. Everybody knocks down everything these days. That's just how it is. But a ghost? There was a ghost visiting the kids or something when the husband was away?
You know what? My kids would come into their rooms were under the attic, and they would come into me in cold sweats, screaming, "Mom, Mom!" There's people, and I hear voices laughing, and I hear noises and all that. Now, kids have nightmares, and kids hear things. I personally didn't hear them myself, but the story that it became was that Mary Pickford or Douglas Fairbanks had girlfriends and they were upstairs and they were haunting and all kinds of crazy stuff. We took the house down because of termites. The house was infested with termites. It was an old Jerry Buzz party house and it was a mess when we bought it, which is, it was not very expensive. We took it down. We didn't completely raise it, but we took the parts that were, not okay. But then I did, they asked me to do celebrity ghost stories. So that's when that whole thing resurfaced.
Okay, yeah, well, when I saw that, I was like, I gotta ask that one. All right, two things. Playboy. Nicely done. That's good. Any regrets ever, like for a second, like, oh, I shouldn't have done that? Or was that totally, I should have done it?
No, I think that it was done to promote the movie, Lonely Lady, and it was the cover. And I really feel that the photos were very tasteful. There was no, spreading your legs or anything like that.
And like they do on Instagram now. Yeah.
No, I mean, it's what people did then when they were in my position to promote. And Universal asked me to do it to promote Lonely Lady. And Bob Guccione took the pictures very tastefully. And it's fine. I don't care. No,
nice.
I don't regret. Life's too short to regret, right?
I just have to ask because some people they get nervous and self-doubt kicks in and insecurities, but there's nothing to be insecure about those pictures. In fact, I love the oil painting that would receive people at your home. That is cool.
The Warhol, I've got it right over there.
Did people ever just walk in and just not be able to move, and you're like, come on, dinner's getting cold, or come have a drink, and they just stand there?
You know what? I have it on stage also, a copy, obviously. A copy behind me. The Warhol estate threatened to take it away, and they were going to sue me, and I'm like, see you later, just try. My son's a lawyer. So anyway, it's behind the piano in Pia's place. And, I tell stories about it. There was just an exhibit. Where are you? What city are you in?
I'm in New York, the one that has the zombies and the end of the world, yeah.
Right, so there was an exhibit at the Whitney, and it was me and David Harry, and he had like his 6 favorite things, and then they came and did for Interview Magazine, a cover story with me in bed with the Warhol and my Piatini and stuff. So it's all cool, and as long as you can look back and think about it and have fun with it and be comfortable with it. Life is all about being comfortable. I mean, if you kill someone, obviously you're not going to move on. But if you post for Playboy, big deal.
Mm-hmm. It's really about the way you feel about yourself, and then other people pass judgments because they don't have the confidence and wouldn't be able to do it themselves.
Who cares?
So, Yeah. How do you deal with that? Like, you obviously have people who, what they call now haters on Instagram and Facebook, where everyone who's successful and out there and doing something amazing, like 30-40% of the people are hating on them on social media. I basically said to people, I love my haters because they're the most dedicated people in the world regarding anything I'm doing. They know everything and they're involved in everything, and thank God for them, because as you know, the worst thing you can say about a celebrity is nothing. How did you deal with pre-social media with people saying, "Oh, well, this happened because of that," or "They did this," and did you just
Well,
ignore it totally?
what you're saying is that any publicity is good publicity, is better than no publicity. And, people are always going to have opinions. And there are haters. A lot of people are just haters by nature. They'll hate anything. Or, I hate to say it, a lot of people are jealous. It's just real. I probably would be too. I'd be jealous of myself.
Ah,
I don't get hate.
yeah. I have to tell you, I rarely stop for a second and have to like just point something out. That's one of the best lines I've had in over 2,000 interviews, and I've interviewed Liza Minnelli and those people, and Robin Williams and all kinds of people, super creative. I'd be jealous of myself. I'm putting that under IMDb. That's incredible. Wow, that's a good one. All right. And you met the third husband. Forget the second husband. We'll skip that, right? The third husband.
Good point.
I've been here before. The third one, you were doing
It was
a phone call.
I was doing a what? Go ahead.
Making a phone call about a stalker to the police department, and then serendipitously, kismet, all that fake stuff, you wind up meeting. What, did he come to the house then to see if you were okay, or you went there for a report?
My Beverly Hills attorney, because I was going through divorce with the guy that we didn't mention, the second one. So, it was actually him stalking me because he wanted to get me in contempt of court because he didn't think that I was allowed to take the kid out of the city, and I did. So he came and but there had been some physical stuff going on, or there was a restraining order where he got physical with me. So, it wasn't just nothing. So anyway, my attorney said, you need to go down to the police station and file a report. So we had this. I mean, later he was charged with everything and all that, but we needed to have the information that he kept on going and going. So I guess it came across Michael, who's my husband, who was the...
Who looks great for Doris, right?
He was the detective in charge of sexual assault and domestic violence on the Strip. He took care of celebrities. And so it came across his desk. And so he looked at it and said, oh shit, some idiot named their kid Pia Zadora. And then he looked at the date of birth and he goes, oh my God, it's her. So he called me to go over a few details, to ask what happened here, what happened there. And we talked, and then like 3 months later, he said, here's my cell number, call me if you have any questions. I know, it was kind of weird, but he said he did that with everybody, so I don't know. But
here's my number, 911. For you, you get the private number.
That's funny. So little by little, we talked for about 2 years, then we met. And he was supposed to do a homicide trial in LA, and he was supposed to have coffee, and it was nothing romantic. We would just kind of talk. It's weird. We had this strange, okay, we want to talk to each other. So then he was supposed to come in September, and it was already November, and I said, hey, you stood me up. Get your ass up to my house in Lake Arrowhead. I owe you a dinner. It's halfway between New York, between Vegas and LA, and I go there for the weekends. So he came, and we had a little dinner and sat by the fire, and he actually cleared the house. You know how cops cleared every room because he was told the ex wanted me back and the Mossad was going to get him. So he came up there with his gun.
Going through the house with the flashlight and the gun.
Yeah, exactly. And so we just, we had that weekend, and the following weekend we got together, and he came to Pick Fair because I was up there with my little son at the time, who was like 4, and he spiked a fever, and I rerouted him to Pick Fair, and he walks in and he sees this house. And he goes, oh, this is too much. I can't do this. I said, come on, don't be a wimp. It's just a house. Take off your goddamn hairspray because you're making me, I'm about to pass out, and go to your room and clean up. And he's like, okay. And he was always like really stiff in front of me because he was like really nervous for the first couple of, I don't mean that stiff. You know what I mean?
No, well, every guy is stiff that way around you, but you meant he's uncomfortably stiff.
Yeah. But the kids loved him. And he was always doing like jokes and Michael Jackson imitations. I'm like, wait, what's wrong with this? My daughter said, no, he's fun, Mom. Trust me, he's fun. And it turned out he was. And he's really great. I mean, we have so much fun together. We enjoy each other. And he takes care of Jordan because the guy we didn't mention died. 2 of my husbands are dead. I killed them. No, just kidding. And there's a joke about that.
We're having bandwidth issues. I have to go. I don't want to accessory after the fact, Pia.
Yeah. And
okay.
Yeah. Anything else?
There's actually a ton more. What I'd like to do is make this part 1, because I do have someone at 4 o'clock, and it's 4:20. I've notified them that we would be late. Yeah, no, it's okay. It's you. It's okay. So what we'll do is we'll continue this. I'll email you, send you this later, and I'll email you and we'll coordinate like part 2, because there's a whole bunch more.
Okay, sounds good. It's fun.
So this is Hollywood Cliffhanger. There's so much more to come. We'll talk about getting your pictures out. Maybe you can have them ready. You can hold them up to the screen, whatever. You're a doll. I don't blame you for being jealous of yourself. I'm jealous of you. There's something else. You're definitely, you're Hollywood meets Vegas, and I think I put that in the title. Rarely people can do both, so
I like it.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
You can do one quick thing for me. I'm going to stop the camera from recording and then start again. Okay. I have a very dear friend. It's my friend's mother and father. They're okay, but they're a little bit under the weather. They're trapped in their apartments and everything, and they're a little bit older. And they're both huge fans. If you could just say the man's name and who you are, and like, hello, whatever you'd say. His name is Arkady, like Arkady. Just say, hi, Arkady. It's Pia Zadora. Anything, he would go nuts. He's been a fan forever.
Okay. Tell me when.
Oh, let me shut down the Facebook and YouTube thing. This is all private. This is